Yo, what is going on, Xbox and PC fans? It is Josh bringing you guys some news. Finally, I know I've been away for a while with the news, but I am coming to you guys today with some interesting stuff. EA, you guys all know EA, they have pretty much gone off the reservation as far as shooting games are concerned. They got Battlefield, they have Titanfall coming out later this year, they have Star Wars already in the fray. And recently their CEO, one of their CEOs, Andrew Wilson, was quoted as saying those games will not compete with one another. He says this is a giant $4.5 billion category in the gaming industry, and there's a very broad set of players out there that want to play games in different ways. Some want more fast-paced shooting games, some want more strategic. Certain players want kind of the best of both worlds in different contexts, etc. And it's hard to argue with that. You know, there's a lot of shooting games out there, and a lot of those games I play, so if EA happens to make, more than one or two of those games a year and they're all good, yeah, I'll probably play them all, so why the hell not? But yeah, EA stating they're going to launch a new Star Wars Battlefront game every year starting next year in 2017. This Battlefront was basically based on the first three movies, episode 4, 5, and 6, and they really can't go outside of that. Some of the Jakku DLC was kind of in between episodes, but really kind of sticking to the lore of the first three films, so it'll be interesting to see what they come up with moving forward. I don't really know how they're going to have, a new game every year unless they break it up per episode, which is possible. Do one for Clone Wars or whatever, and, so on and so forth, but not a whole lot of context in each movie, I wouldn't think, for a whole game plus DLC, but we'll see what they do with that. Certainly having a good time playing that right now, at the very least. Actually rumored that will hit EA Access here fairly soon, so I'm telling you guys, I'm going to do a video on EA Access here and also Origin Access relatively soon, and just tell you guys more about the benefits and the cost and what's included in that. I find it to be a good value, but I'll tell you guys more about that shortly. Believe it or not, EA actually have yet another Star Wars game, two as a matter of fact, that are still being made currently, one of which apparently is very similar to the canceled Star Wars 1333 that looked awesome a couple of E3s ago. Really looking forward to that game, and then it got completely canned. But apparently Jade Raymond, the woman that has handled a lot of the Assassin's Creed projects, is now currently working on a new third-person Star Wars game that will be very similar to 1333 and games like Uncharted. So looking forward to that, certainly getting some more story. Battlefield has zero to offer, so that'll be nice to get my hands on some new Star Wars stuff in terms of story and single-player campaign. And apparently, meanwhile, there is yet another third-person Star Wars game in development at Respawn, the studio responsible for Titanfall and Titanfall 2. So those guys are super busy just making Titanfall 2 and making another third-person Star Wars game that is yet to be announced in terms of the name or the type of gameplay, etc. So they're certainly using, EA is certainly using that Star Wars license, as is Disney making, these movies, spin-off movies and rides at their parks, etc. So certainly no more of George Lucas kind of sitting back on his laurels and letting Star Wars just, kind of bask in its limelight. These guys are using these licenses for Star Wars actively, and me personally, I love it. I love the lore, and I love the stories, and hopefully, all these games will live up to their expectations, and the quality can be really good and be really compelling and be pretty awesome. So I'm looking forward to these. We'll see what we get. On top of that, EA definitely has Titanfall 2 and Battlefield 1, aka Battlefield 5, launching later this year. In other news, Nintendo, their new console has been rumored in Nintendo's NX. They say it is not a successor to the Wii U, which kind of might point to some other things. Nintendo is just kind of doing their own thing, walking to the beat of their own drum, so to speak, always kind of have, but this might kind of allude to yet another iteration of the interface that we see with consoles, similar to what they did with the Wii, introducing the motion controller at the time, or the Wii U with that, the tablet functionality and kind of extended screen experience, etc., what that can do on that console. So we may see something new. Hopefully, the gimmicks will be limited and the functionality will be real, but that's yet to be seen, but we'll find out soon enough, I'm sure, hopefully at E3. But I really think, Nintendo's angle ought to be personally VR. just because Nintendo games tend to be less stressful on system resources. You know, even on the Wii U, heck, even on the Wii, you know, they have games that ran at 1080p 60 frames a second because these games are highly cel-shaded. They're more cartoon-esque than you'd see in like your typical you know, Xbox One or PS4 game where like shooting for like ultra realism. And they're just getting, you know, 30 frames a second at 900p or 1080p or whatever. You know, these VR headsets are going to require 90 frames per second to be rendered twice. So that's one for each eye. So, I mean, literally, you know, personal opinion, I think Nintendo's in a fantastic spot to be able to capitalize on virtual reality, you know, kind of at the beginning in its infancy when, you know, the hardware really isn't powerful enough to push the ultra realistic stuff, but it is powerful enough to push possibly, you know, Mario running around in some 3D would be just banging in VR. I would love to hop on like Yoshi or something and go scooting around as Metroid or whatever, playing Mario Kart. That'd be just awesome in my opinion, but we'll see where they go with that, guys. But that's an opportunity, I think, for them. We'll see what they do. Other news, man, if this is true, I don't even know what to say about it, but Halo could be coming to the PC. You know, these PC guys forever. I'm a PC guy, but I got an Xbox, obviously, so, you know, if that's where Halo is, that's where I'm going. If they put Halo on a calculator, I'm buying a calculator. But, yeah, if Halo comes to PC, that would be sweet. In my opinion, they have confirmed that Forge, you know, kind of the creative component to Halo, making your own world, is kind of like that snap map feature I covered in Doom recently, but really blown out. You can create just vast worlds and game types and really whatever you want in the Halo sandbox and Forge. That has actually been blown out and even expanded upon for the PC, which will be launching here, I believe, pretty shortly. But yeah, PC players can hop into the sandbox of Halo and create some really cool stuff. Not really sure, you know, how they feel about being left out of Halo 5 for now, but yeah, Josh Holmes, you know, one of the directors over there at 343 Industries, saying this is just the beginning. And also confirming the fact that Halo Wars 2 will be coming to Windows 10 PC later this year, along with the Xbox One. So, you know, they really have hinted and kind of, you know, alluded to some continuation as far as bringing Halo games to the PC. Really like to see something in the future where, you know, we have optional cross-platform play between PC and Xbox players. If you want to hop in with the PC players and vice versa, you can click that box off, and it'll get you guys some more players, possibly some faster matchmaking, etc. Or just to mix things up and challenge some guys with some keyboards and mouses versus some controllers. You know, I mean, have a couple of those matches, see how things go down. You know, I mean, everyone's always talking crap about that. Let's just set it up for, you know, for once and check it out, see how things go. But yeah, I mean, I think that would be sweet, and I do feel like most of the competitive scene would probably stay on the Xbox. You know, just where things have a more level playing field, and it's kind of more fair because nobody can have, you know, 3 ultra-wide monitors or a VR headset or some crazy mouse get up or whatever. But you know, some other guy has like a PS2 mouse on an old, you know, one of those big CRT monitors or something. It's just you know, you get a lot more variance in what people have in terms of their setup on PC than you do on console. Everybody has kind of the same controllers, at least for the most part. You know, they haven't plugged into TVs, so. But at any rate, yeah, it should be interesting, guys. You know, I want to see what that kind of develops into here. We'll find out more, I'm sure, at E3 from those guys about Halo Wars 2. Can't wait for that. And yeah, other than that, you know, do get out there this week, kick some ass, play some games, have a great time, enjoy this shit. You only get to go around once, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.